Deputy President William Ruto have officially ditched the Jubilee Party and was installed as the party leader of UDA in the UDA NDC that was held in Kasarani. In that event, the Deputy President was also endorsed officially as the flag bearer for UDA. And in that event, you could also see the tone and the mood. And I've always asked myself, why is it that the mood was the mood of the UDA team normally looks very gloomy, even though that was a happy event. Now, I just want to give you a rough up of what really transpired in that event. It started very early in the morning. Then the other delegates, including the members of parliament from the other parties that now ditched their parties to join UDA, came in. Then immediately, Deputy President got into the gymnasium. They ordered the media to stay away for 1 hour. And Kenyans were then asking, even though that was seen as a way to do their own housekeeping, but Kenyans were asking why they opted to keep the media away. So they transacted their business for almost 1 hour, 30 minutes. Imagine, initially it was supposed to be now 1 hour. Then when they came back for the second bit, we saw the other visitors now joining that event. Moses Kuria came in alongside Jimmy Wanjigi. Then TSP party leader Mwangi Kiunjuri also attended. The earthquake himself, Musalia Mudavadi, Moses Wetangula, and William Kabogo. Even though that segment was treated as a segment of the guests, but I don't feel those are guests because those ones are actually members of Kenya Kwanza. Then after that, the process of endorsing William Ruto as the presidential candidate was done, and that was spearheaded, that was presided over by the Secretary General Veronica Maina. Now, what caught my attention is this. What did they go to do in private if it was about the endorsing William Ruto that was done in front of the camera? And Kenyans have been asking the questions. But again, very interesting is this. You chase media out of that place, then there was a directive that you don't take photos. Actually, they were told, the delegates were actually told that they don't record whatever is going to be transacted there. But remember, this is a place where 5,000 people are there and people have phones. So in this video, we are going to give you details that have leaked on what was really being transacted, what they were really discussing during the private session. And I can assure you that the meeting that was there, it was a cocktail of joy and bit of some pressure. And so we are going to see why there was pressure in that private meeting and why they actually opted it not to be broadcasted, because they knew that what they were going to transact, it was something that, even though it was going to get to the media, but exclusively, they wanted it to be an UDA affair. And that is why you remember, the guest only came after that session was over. So guys, before we get to that point, I want to humbly request you that kindly subscribe to our channel. Also, give this video a thumbs up. It helps in increasing the rating. And also, you can talk to us in our comment section, and you can tell us on what about the success of the event. And by the way, someone was, there was a lot of conversation online. What is the role of Farouk Kibet in UDA or in Kenya Kwanza? Because he seemed to be the one, even though we know that he's a personal secretary to William Ruto, but he seemed to be calling the shots at that NDC. In fact, at some point, he went and interrupted Johnston Muthama William Ruto was telling him that his time is over and he's supposed now to go and sit. So it also kept us answering, asking ourselves the questions, what is the role of Farouk Kibet? Now, ladies and gentlemen, the secret meeting that was there was going to discuss the fate of the MPs. Now, prior to this NDC today, there was a meeting of the UDA leaders previous day, last night, and part of what they were discussing is on the possibility of the MPs resigning from Jubilee Party. And according to what I have actually gathered, is that William Ruto wanted these MPs now to execute the mass exodus. This is the second attempt because the first attempt was tried in February, around 10th, 9th, but it didn't work out. So the DP was trying to implore these leaders that are going to now commit themselves to Jubilee, to UDA, to resign from those other parties. Now, according to what I received, because I happen to speak to one aspirant who is in Jubilee, and of course this is something that leaked out, they were not sure of whether they should resign and the legal implications. So partly in that meeting, they were trying to iron out the issue of these leaders resigning from Jubilee Party. Of course, they have not yet divided the details of how exactly they agreed, but there was a directive on the way they are going through that. Remember, during that in-house meeting that was going on, there is what was being transacted in the floor of the gymnasium, but there was another private retreat of the leaders of UDA party that was going on at the VIP section. So DP Ruto and the other team retreated to another meeting, as there was the other normal ones that were being transacted at the floor of the gymnasium. So that still remained an issue on how they were going through it. Another thing, the team there were committed to elect the new leadership of the UDA party, or rather replace the others. Remember, Omingo Magara resigned, and so he was the national treasurer, and I think even the assistant organizing secretary, someone called Wanjala, also resigned. So these two positions were vacant, of course, they had to be filled, and their position of the party leader had not been made official. William Ruto was actually, by acclamation, actually it was done by acclamation, he was elected, or let me say appointed, to be the party leader. Now, this critical process was not to be captured on mainstream media. The reason being, it was bad for the optics. Remember, Deputy President is the party leader of UDA, but is still the Deputy President. So by the mainstream media capturing his signing as the party leader of UDA, I think it was going to be juxtaposed. It was not going to be healthy, because Kenyans will then impound on him, or they'll use that picture to call on him to resign. So it was just for him to be endorsed as the party leader, but that has to be in some very unfamiliar situations, rather in familiar conditions. That is why they decided the media to walk out from that meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, the private meeting that also DP Ruto held with the team at VIP, and this is something that I cannot say gap that, but I really feel that it was also going to address the running mate squabbles. And to better get understanding of this, when DP Ruto was leaving his home, Karen, there is a video that is trending. I think I captured it. This video here. It's a photo here. Now, this video, when he was leaving his home, he was flanked by exclusively Kiambu politicians. Jungle, not Kiambu, but central politicians. Jungle, Irungu Kangata, I think Rigathi Gachagua. Yes. So these are the team that are around him. So I really feel that, remember also before this NDC, the previous day, on this weekend, DP Ruto met with Malala and Central Kenya team members to have an agreement on the issue of the running mate. So I feel, just to make sure that there were no eyebrows or also on the protocol, the way the protocol is going to be done, they made sure that they retreated to that private VIP meeting. That was just to iron out the running mate issues. Now, thirdly, now the members of UDA, as of yesterday night, not many of them knew that Jimmy Wanjigi and Mwangi Kiunjuri were going to attend that NDC. So the list of the guests actually was unveiled the day in the morning. So what they did was to make sure that they organized, because if you look at the initial photos that were shared, the seats were marked by the names. There was the seat of all the leaders, but the Mwangi Kiunjuri, Jimmy Wanjigi, the Kabogos and Moses Kuria were expected. The seats were not marked. So they retreated at that meeting to organize on protocol and also to prepare this, to prepare the members on the visitors that were coming. Now, this was very critical so that if Jimmy is coming, they should actually know that he's coming maybe as a partner or is coming as an invited guests. But how about it? But if you ask me, ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Wanjigi is not a presidential candidate. He is not a running mate. He is a political financer. I can tell you straight in my eyes, in your eyes, that Jimmy Wanjigi is bankrolling Dr. William Ruto. But all these dramas of him telling us he's going to be the ballot is just a cover-up so that Kenyans or other people will not see the bigger picture. But the bigger picture, the powerful force behind DP Ruto, if you ask me, is none other than Jimmy Wanjigi. And that is why he was part of that NDC. Because how will he sit there as a presidential candidate and there is another one who is being unveiled and is giving his manifesto? So what is he going to say? I can tell you for sure, Jimmy is working with DP Ruto. Now, lastly, there's also the issue of the nomination rules. You know, the National Elections Board by UDA have been traversing counties to do trainings and prepare their leaders on the nomination rules. And also that NDC was to ratify some of the rules that had been put there that have been actually formulated by the National Elections Board. So that is a brief of what really they transacted. And you can ask yourself whether that is something that was not to be captured in the camera. But then the truth of the matter here is that there was a lot of tension in that NDC. And also, just revisiting the issue of the resignees, the trouble is on two. One is nominated members of parliament. If they resign, so are they going to lose those positions? No one wants to do that. Secondly, Jeremiah Kioni, who is the Secretary General of Jubilee, had mentioned that the members that will resign from Jubilee Party, they will just lose their positions because they have actually resigned. And of course, there are calls for them to return the packs. Oh, I also need to mention that Justin Nturi is there. What do you guess? What do you think? Is it that Central Kenya, there's also another thing that Central Kenya team might be coalescing, trying to form a unity of purpose as a protest against President Uhuru Kenyatta. And the protest is well executed by supporting Dr. William Samoei.